Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here, and I am pumped up. The Dodgers beat the Padres 2 out of 3 in this last series. Like I mentioned in Game 1, you just had to give the Padres credit for the way that they pitched, with Michael King starting and then Mason Miller ending. How about, it's been over and over and over, but you're able to beat Mason Miller in the second game. And I wanted to say this about Alex Call as we get into this. Al, how you doing today? I want to say this about Alex Call. He got picked off in the second game, and he probably should have been the GOAT there, but instead he becomes the hero with his slide at home plate, and he scores. And it's because Mason Miller made his first throwing error ever, okay? And I only bring this up to say, how good has Alex Call been? How hard does he try? Being a guy that's a role player, it's like baseball gods shined on him in that moment. So they took him from the GOAT. They made him the hero because he does things right. It's like we always would tell players, hey, you do things right, the baseball gods will shine on you. So that's how I felt about Alex Call. I was super excited for him to get that moment. That's absolutely an awesome thing to watch there. Andy Pages, he has the really long at bat. That was absolutely awesome. You outlasted the Padres, and I'm just going to say this, okay? The Padres offense looks defeated, okay? And, hey, I don't want to take anything away from Shohei Ohtani. And they scored, 4 runs against MHC the night before. Shohei Ohtani averaged 98 miles an hour. The fastball up in the zone was ridiculous. The sweeper to right-handers was ridiculous. And then to play all of that off of those 2 pitches, the splitter below the zone was ridiculous. So you had your fastball at the top of the zone. You had the splitter to tumble below the zone. You had the sweeper that turned left to beat the right-handers. And the splitter and the slider, both on occasion at least, but typically speaking, the splitter almost every time tunneled off that high fastball. So it came out looking like a fastball and then just would tumble off the plate, then the fastball would continue to carry. And when you average 98 miles an hour and then crisis moments don't even bother you, whenever it showed Ohtani's face, whenever the Padres had first and third and nobody out, and it looked like they were going to threaten and come back and put a dent into the game, maybe tie the game up, whatever. Ohtani didn't look phased. And then I'll say this about Fernando Tatis Jr. Okay, he just wanted to get that at bat over. I'm just going to tell you, I've been in competition long enough. Just looking at the way that he approached that at bat, just the facial expressions, just the lifelessness of it, just the resignation of, almost as if, well, at least I hit it and I didn't look like a jackass in this at bat, okay? That is a young man in Fernando Tatis Jr. who did not want any part of that moment, and he dang sure didn't want any part of Shohei Ohtani. That was in my opinion, courageless, the exact antithesis of the Andy Pages at bat. The at bat from Fernando Tatis Jr., you're going to pull a ball to shortstop right there. You can't, and that was the antithesis of the Andy Pages at bat, because just my opinion, and hey, I'm not going to hide from behind it. I do not like Fernando Tatis Jr. When Manny Machado was with the Dodgers, I was very vocal. You can go back to any of my articles that I wrote or any of my social media posts. I did not want Manny Machado in the Dodgers organization. He's a punk. Okay, he just is. He's not a good person to have. Certainly, here's the problem with Manny Machado is he's actually really good until you really need him to be. But because he's really good, then for some reason he's thrust into this leadership role, because say all you want, okay, but if you suck, you're not going to be a leader. I don't care how good of a dude you are. I don't care how tough you are. I don't care. You have to be the person on the field that can lead by example to truly be a leader, okay? So when you're as good as Manny Machado on a day in and day out basis, whether you like it or not, you are going to have to assume Anywhere from some to probably more like quite a bit of the leadership duties. That's something that he has never embraced, okay? In my opinion, he's always been a prick about it. He's been selfish about it. So Manny Machado, and then just the absolute garbage talk from Fernando Tatis Jr. for accomplishing absolutely nothing. If you want to see an organization or a group of players that have actually accomplished something, okay? And if you're a Padres fan and this pisses you off, too bad. Go somewhere else. But if you want to see an organization full of players that have actually accomplished something, that then don't run their mouth and then actually act like pros and act like they've done it before, then watch the team that was in blue last night. That's the team that knows how to win championships. That's the team that knows how to keep their mouth shut. And that's the team, other than one at this point fairly meaningless in terms of what the Padres have done, playoff series a couple of years ago because they did nothing with it. That's the team that continues to finish with the upper hand. Okay, and that's the Dodgers last night. Now, I get it. The Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani, and they have all of this. But, again, no courage whatsoever for Fernando Tatis Jr., no courage ever from Manny Machado. They said, hopefully I don't eat my words here, but I never have in the past, and I'm pretty strong on this. I don't care, because I think if you follow this channel, I think you know I don't throw people under the bus, which I guess I'm doing that with Machado and Tatis right now because they deserve it. I can't stand. One thing this is why I go off on Tony Vitello. What I can't stand is people that just run their mouth and they're punks, and then they really haven't done anything to back it up. Like Tony Vitello, at least at the college level, you had to respect that he was able to win games despite the fact that he bought all of his players. It wasn't hard. I mean, Tennessee's good again this year. They're going to continue to be good, okay? Alabama football, going to continue to be good, especially in this day and age, because coaching matters less than ever because you buy your players, okay? You're going to buy better talent, okay? You don't even have to really recruit them. All you got to do is go out and offer contracts, and the highest bidder is going to win most of the time. Now, there is a certain amount of culture you got to add to it. So, yes, am I throwing Manny Machado under the bus? Absolutely. Am I throwing Fernando Tatis Jr. under the bus? Absolutely. Don't care, not going to apologize, never will. This is my channel. I can have the narrative that I want, and that's my narrative on those two. And in my opinion, from a person who loves to respect the game like I feel like I do, that loves to respect the people that play the game like I feel like I do, okay? I think that's very much so warranted. So I enjoyed watching Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting that double play. I've enjoyed watching Manny Machado fail at every turn against the Dodgers for the most part. And the Dodgers, now I like some of the players that the Padres have. I don't hold a grudge against almost all of them. I liked Mike Schilt until he pulled his punk ethics last. I mean, he was a straight punk last year too. I liked him until that point. So it's not just, hey, it's a Padres thing. Okay, it's this is who you chose to ride with, and then you allow them to act like that, and so this is how people are going to think about you. So the Dodgers improved to 31-19 on the year. They're back in first place in the NL West, and I leave the Padres series with the idea that, man, there's nobody in the NL West even close to as good as the Dodgers. Just start hitting the ball a little bit, start playing good baseball, and I just don't see any way where if the Dodgers just do anything close to what they're supposed to, that they don't win the NL West comfortably. The Padres, could they get hot? Could they start playing better offense? Matter of fact, they probably should. Okay, you got Xander Bogaerts, you got Manny Machado, you got Fernando Tatis Jr. You've got some good role players. Okay, but an offense that's lifeless. Very good pitching though. The Padres do have very good pitching, but the Dodgers, the thing I think I'm the most excited about was, okay, hey, you want to play some low scoring pitching duel type games? Let's do it. And the Dodgers, and you see, there's another example. I love Michael King. I love Mason Miller. I did nothing but give it up to them. I love those guys. I don't root against those guys just because they play for the Padres. Okay, I was, in a weird, stupid way, I was proud of watching the excellence that they showed in the first game of the series. But this series shows that even if the Dodgers have to play the Padres game, which is a low-scoring pitching duel type of series, which is what this turned out to be, that's the only way the Padres can compete with the Dodgers, at least right now. But even so, if the Padres offense plays to its potential and the Dodgers offense plays to its potential, the Dodgers are a way better offense. So the only way the Padres can beat the Dodgers is if what happened this last weekend, and that is low-scoring pitching duel type games, and the Dodgers still beat them 2 out of 3, and the Dodgers still beat them 2 out of 3 at Petco Park, and the Dodgers still beat them 2 out of 3 at Petco Park after losing the first game. This was an alpha male series for me. This was okay, you want to play your game? We'll play your game better than you, and we'll do it on your home park. And by the time that we leave this series, you will be defeated and deflated, and you'll have that look on your face. That's the alpha male feeling that I'm getting this morning off of the outing last night. And Shohei Ohtani that's why we talked about Kyle Tucker. We didn't just sign Kyle Tucker for him to blend in. What Shohei Ohtani did last night, hitting the home run on the first pitch of the game and absolutely shoving it straight up where the sun doesn't shine to the Padres on the mound, that's why you go out in free agency and get Shohei Ohtani. There is no amount of money on earth that can replace what Shohei Ohtani did last night, okay? First of all, what he did, you're going to make the money back because you're going to have advertisement and people wanting to buy beer and everything else. That's going to pay for his contract 10 times over. And then you get what you get on both sides of the ball. Think about the impact that he had in that game last night. There is no way that you can overpay for that. That's just a ridiculous impact. And I'll tell you this, I went on and on and on about Mookie Betts the other night. Well, he can't hit pull side, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And I also caveated that with every time I go on something like this, I'm batting about 5% against the organization. It does look like Mookie Betts is stabilizing a little bit. I think that's exciting. And then I'm going to say this, and I have no inside information. I have nothing other than my experience in the game and using the eye test of what I see. I promise you that these players know what's being said on social media. Now, are they reading posts? Or are they actually responding to individuals on social media? Do they know about individual accounts? No, okay? That's not what I mean. They're not out there reading individual accounts. What I'm saying is they know what the overall summative assessment of the narrative on them is at that moment, okay? I promise you Freddie Freeman knows that there's a narrative out there of Dodgers fans that are at least in the beginning stages of becoming curious. Have the injuries caught up to him? Is he aging out of his prime? Again, no individual account that he's read this off of, no individual person is he drawing a motivation out of. But from the overall narrative, I promise you Freddie Freeman knows that narrative. I promise you he's fully aware of it. And I also promise you that motivates people like that. Oh yeah? You want to have this narrative on me? You want to talk like that? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'll show your dumbass. That's how those type of people operate. Even though Freddie Freeman's like the nicest, kindest human being in the world, that's how competitive people work. Okay, just tell me I can't do something. Let me show you. Well, we saw that with Mookie Betts last year. Hey, just go ahead and tell me you don't think I can be a Gold Glove shortstop, right? So the narrative now is, can he be a Gold Glove shortstop and also get back to being a Hall of Fame type of offensive player? I promise you, he can deny it all he wants, but I promise you, Mookie Betts knows the narrative on him. That is, hey, he's never going to be the hitter that he used to be. He knows that narrative is out there. He's fully aware of it. And the reason why I do say that so confidently is he wants to be aware of it, because guys like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman are always looking for something to give them an edge. Those narratives give them an edge, and I promise you, Mookie Betts, with his stabilization of his offense recently, okay, it's going to be his goal to prove all the dumbasses like me wrong about all the narratives about him. So it's good to see him stabilize his offense. It's good to see the bullpen look like they have. Edgardo Henriquez, you look better than you ever have, man. Awesome job, Edgardo. I am so proud of Edgardo Henriquez. I'm going to tell you, okay, and I've got receipts of all of our shows. I've got Coach Barikoff is right on board with this. He was right alongside with me on this. We were together on this. A couple of years ago, we were both like, he's not ready, and he wasn't. We were right on that. A lot of things were wrong on. We were right on Edgardo Henriquez, okay? I didn't think he was ready last year. He had the good World Series outing. Fantastic. Edgardo Henriquez, he's ready, okay? I said I don't know how many different times at the beginning of this year. This is a huge year for Edgardo. It's time, okay? We've had the ramp up. We've had the honeymoon period. We've had the, hey, well, you're young. No, it's time. You throw the ball 102 miles an hour. You've reached 105. You have a 94-mile-an-hour shorter slider, bullet slider, cutter, whatever you want to call it. It's time. You've pitched in the World Series. This is your third year now in the major leagues. It's time. And to me, Edgardo Henriquez is showing that it is time for him. 3.26 ERA last night. He threw an inning scoreless, and he threw it 102 miles an hour. And for Edgardo Henriquez, okay, now that is his 4. That is his fifth scoreless outing in a row, and now he's gone scoreless in 6 of his 7 outings. How about that? Okay, Edgardo Henriquez, it's your time. Not your time just to be a guy. It's your time to be one of the high leverage guys. That's what you're capable of doing. Kyle Hurt, I continue to say, hey, this guy, throw him to the top of your trust tree. And how about Will Klein? Okay, Will Klein, I'm not going to lie, okay? I was very curious to see how Will Klein handled the last 2 days, and especially game 2. And he was unflapped, okay? He just went out there just like it was a Tuesday in Oklahoma City, okay? And that's a good thing. I don't mean like he didn't have the right amount of energy. I just mean from let's not make too big of a deal out of this, because here's the deal with Kyle Hurt, with Edgardo Henriquez, with Will Klein, as disappointing as it is with losing Edwin Diaz, okay? With Tanner Scott, add him to this list too. Their stuff is so dirty that if they just go out and execute, they're going to get major league hitters out at the clip that we all want them to. The only way that they're going to struggle is if they try to do too much, they don't execute, they get behind in the count, they walk guys, they give away too much free baseball. So to execute, really what you need to do is just go out and act like it's just another outing. It's no different than if I was pitching on a Tuesday night in Sugar Land and this vein, okay, that my goal is just to go out there and whatever pitch is called, just execute it. Okay, it doesn't matter what mound I'm on, doesn't matter what hitter I'm facing, and if I execute, I'm going to be successful. That's what I'm seeing from Edgardo Henriquez. He's trusting that process. That's what I saw out of Will Klein, and that's whenever you see that is whenever you see a guy that has success, and they walk around, whether it be on the mound or in a batter's box or in the field, and what you really see from them is a mentality and mannerisms that are, yeah, I've done it before, okay? This is just the next time I'm going to do it, Okay? It goes back to pitch with emotions. No doubt Edgardo Henriquez has emotions. You saw the emotions come out of Kyle Hurt on the double play. That was huge. Okay? So pitch with emotions, no doubt about it, but don't be emotional. It's just another outing. And just know that if you execute, there's a reason why you're in the major leagues. You are going to be, not every time, there's going to be some times where you don't come through. Okay, but by and large, Will Klein, Kyle Hurt, Edgardo Henriquez, their stuff is good enough. Just execute. Okay, just execute, and you'll be fine. So Shohei Ohtani, 2 for 4 at the plate, a home run, a walk, and obviously the RBI in the home run. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 88 pitches, ERA of 0.73. Shohei Ohtani, you are a badass. And again, my narrative of, well, this goes to prove that he shouldn't hit whenever he pitches. There you go, man. Hey, man, with Shohei Ohtani, he's going to prove you wrong. If you have any kind of narrative that, hey, you should reduce this or reduce that about what he's doing, okay, he's going to prove you wrong almost every single time, right? So it turns out that Shohei Ohtani's pretty darn good, pretty fun to watch. And let me say this again, from a baseball purist perspective, beyond the winning and losing, hey, we've all seen the Dodgers win a lot of games in our day. We've all seen the Dodgers lose a lot of games in our day. So that's one thing, that's another. It's fun to beat the Padres, I get it. Please, though, let me give you some advice. When Shohei Ohtani's at the plate, when he's pitching, and I think Dodgers fans actually do this quite well, probably better than I do as a whole, stop and realize what you're watching. You're watching Babe Ruth. So of all the stories that you heard of Babe Ruth, or Lou Gehrig, or whoever it may be, okay, growing up, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, the Commerce Common here out of Oklahoma, Johnny Bench, the Stinger from Binger here out of Oklahoma, whoever, Reggie Jackson, and the Mr. October, whatever stories you heard as a kid, of course, a lot of us got to experience some of that stuff, right? Okay. This is the storyline being created. They're going to be talking about Shohei Ohtani 100 years from now. They're going to be, if the baseball's still around, if we don't throw a nuclear bomb out there and blow up the world, okay, something like that. If baseball's still around 300 years from now, they're going to be talking about Shohei Ohtani. And we get to see it with our own eyes. And to take that even further, we as Dodgers fans, we get to see it every day. Stop and be thankful for that. Stop and watch and go, you know what? I'm getting to literally witness. This is like if I could go back and watch the Declaration of Independence getting signed in person. This is what we're watching. We are watching, and what I mean by that is we are watching history being made right in front of our own eyes every day. And every time Shohei Ohtani does something like this, it always just makes me stop and be so thankful that I get to be a part of history in terms of at least getting to watch it every day. So super fun. It could not be any more awesome to watch. And last 7 days, okay, despite the fact the offense isn't scoring a whole lot, the Dodgers are playing really good baseball, man. You don't go into San Diego with the pitching they have, even though their offense is struggling, and win 2 games if you don't play really good baseball. Yamamoto had the incredible outing. Sasaki had the great outing. Emmett Sheehan struggled in his outing. Edgardo Henriquez has we just mentioned, five outing. What is that? 5 outings in a row for him. Let me actually go back to that. I don't want to misstate here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outings in a row scoreless. 6 out of his last 7. Okay. Will Klein has looked like a stud. Okay. Unbelievable trends. You know, Alex Vesia is going to bounce back. Tanner Scott is having an incredible year. He's having that second year, and we talk about that all the time. The second time you do something, it's always easier than the first time. Okay? Not always. I mean, sometimes for young guys, there's a sophomore slump. But for a veteran like that, I think that definitely applies. Shohei Ohtani, last 7 days, he's batting almost 500. So he just gave you a dominant pitching performance last night. Incredible fastball, top of the zone. Splitter that broke below the zone, tumbled below the zone. Sweeper that absolutely his sweeper destroyed Manny Machado. Beyond that, how about close to 500 in the last 7 days? On-base percentage of Shohei Ohtani, almost 600. Slugging percentage of almost 900. OPS of almost 1,500 last 7 days. And I'm going to say it again. He's using the entire field, which is allowing him to let the ball get deeper, which is creating better swing decisions. And then when the opposing pitcher does actually make a mistake, he's not missing it. So you can do all these things. You can have all this great game plan. Bottom line is, almost always, hitting a major league pitcher comes down to, when they do finally make a mistake, do you hit it or do you miss it? Okay? And he is not missing at all. Mookie Betts stabilizing. 2 more hits last night. He had the double to left center. That goes directly against my dumbass and my narrative on, I think he needs to, I still think that. But it's great to see how he stayed over that ball, and to me, how easily he got to that and how easy the power looked to him. So that double to left center was a lot of fun to watch. And then also, I talk about this all the time. It's not necessarily about the runners in scoring position. It's about the overall amount of hits that you get. The Dodgers were just 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. So they still won, okay? So kind of what I'm saying, they hit into 2 double play. Andy Paez hit into 2 double plays, okay? Another double play from Will Smith. So they squandered opportunities, okay? But they had enough relentlessness to their offense. And then that was kind of pairing with the pitching that they're getting, because, you pitch to the lead if you're a pro. If you have a big lead, you throw more strikes. If it's a little tighter, then you're a little more careful, right? You try to throw the perimeters, make sure that you don't give up damage. Okay, so the Dodgers were playing enough relentless offense to overcome the fact that they've wasted quite a few opportunities. Not good with runners in scoring position, hit into 3 double plays, okay? So the way that you overcome that is you just continue over and over and over and over, continue to play relentless offense, because if you're not relentless, then if you don't, like the Padres are the perfect example. They only gave themselves 1 real opportunity last night to get back in the game. So that 1 real opportunity, either they come through or the game's over, okay? So you sit around and you bitch and moan and you dwell on that 1 opportunity. Well, instead of doing that, my whole narrative on that is, well, just the next inning, go play offense good again. The winning after that, let's play 9 innings of good offense, and you won't even remember the squandered opportunity back in the second. It's like, as a basketball official, what I always tell younger officials is, you're going to have a big block charge call. The coach might get mad at you. You might get into it with them. But I promise you, if you do a really good job from that point on till the fourth quarter, they won't even remember that call early in the game, because there will be so many things that happen between now and then. That's how you deal with wasted opportunities. You create so many opportunities that you don't dwell on the 2 or 3 of them that you miss. And to me, that's kind of the feel that I get from this Dodgers offense. Okay, Freddie Freeman, we talked about him, 2 doubles, starting to drive the ball again. So it's not, the results of the 2 doubles. The process is he's hitting the ball hard again, kind of like Mookie Betts, what I'm talking about. It's not just the fact that he got a couple hits. It's the way that he looked, right? It looked good. Freddie Freeman looked good, okay? Obviously, the double play defense was massive. Run prevention, there's no better way of run preventing than getting double plays, strikeouts, I guess. Andy Paez, absorbed an 0 for 4. I think we can all overlook that one, in considering the incredible at-bat that he had against Mason Miller, however many pitches that was, and just digging in and saying, you know what, screw you. You're pretty damn good, but my ass ain't going back to the dugout without Alex Call scoring. You can have all the advanced analytics. You can have all the game plans. Sometimes it just comes down to a dude just digging into the batter's box and literally just saying, I don't give an F what this pitcher throws. I am putting this ball forward, and I'm going to put it forward in a good enough manner to where that guy at third base is scoring. I'm getting that guy in. There's a reason why sometimes the last 3 outs of a game are the hardest to get. You know why? Because the hitters at the plate don't want to be the last guy to make the out. So they go into that same mindset that Andy Pye has had was, man, my ass ain't getting out. You know, like in the 4th inning, you might be like, well, I'm going to look for my pitch, and if I get it, I'm going to try to do damage on this. Not in the 9th inning. In the 9th inning, you're not worried about any of that. Only thing you're thinking about when you're batting in the 9th inning and your team's trying to come back is, I got to get my ass on base, and I got to figure out how to do it. So that throws you from, kind of game plan mode into just compete mode. And that's where the good separate from the great. Fernando Tatis Jr., he can't handle the compete mode. Manny Machado, he can't handle the compete mode. The Dodgers can, and many times that's the difference. So talking about the squandered opportunities, the Dodgers left 10 runners on base, 6 walks, okay, and only had 4 runs, okay? And you're able to do that because you get elite starting pitching from Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You get elite starting pitching from Shohei Ohtani. And then you get elite bullpen that's able to cover up Emmett Sheehan. I'm going to be interested to see what happens with Emmett Sheehan moving forward. River Ryan is going to throw tonight at Oklahoma City. He hit over 100 miles an hour in Albuquerque this past weekend 6 different times. 6 different times River Ryan hit over 100 miles an hour. So enough offense. You have elite pitching, whether it be with their 2 starts and or the cover-up from the bullpen all the way through, especially for the Emmett Sheehan performance. Timely power. I mean, how does it get any more timely than a leadoff home run? On the road. Because, first of all, you're on the road. Tough place to play. Second of all, the team that scores first wins the game like 70 or something like, I don't know the exact number, but it's over 70% of the time the team that scores first wins. So, man, it can't get any more timely than to hit a home run to lead the game off and get the lead. There's so much winning baseball within Shohei Ohtani going up and hitting that home run. It's unbelievable, okay? You have frontline aces. You have a middle of the order. You have several superstars throughout the order. Will Smith still isn't hitting, right? I mean, Kyle Tucker still is, I think it's fair to say, still just blending in. So you're still not seeing the best version of the Dodgers? No doubt. There is I'm going to say it, a much better version of the Dodgers out there. But what you are seeing is a Dodgers team that is they're so pro. They're such pros that they go, okay, well, this is how we need to win this game. So let's just win this game like this, okay? So we need to win a pitcher's duel. Let's do it, okay? Sometimes you don't, which is why after the Michael King and Mason Miller game and Adam game on the first game of the series, whatever day of the week that was, what is this, Thursday? So that would have been Tuesday. That's why you tip your cap, because sometimes you don't. Sometimes the other team beats you in a duel like that. But this is a team that's showing you that even when you're not seeing the best version of them offensively, they can still figure out ways to win games against the top teams in the NL West, the second top team in the Padres, and on the road, by the way. Okay? The question, I guess, is can the Dodgers, especially bullpen, I think Yoshi can definitely continue this level of pitching. Ohtani can continue it. I guess my question for the starting, here's a question. Will Sasaki continue to be like he was? What's going to happen with Emmett Sheehan? Can Justin Robleski maintain his level of excellence while still only throwing at 92, 93 and pitching to weak contact? Can he keep his level of excellence? I think that's probably the biggest question is, can the pitching continue to hold the line where it's been? And then I think the question too is, Can the bullpen can it continue the excellence that it's had with guys without Edwin Diaz, with guys like Kyle Hurt, Will Klein, and Jack Dreyer on the IL? Can the bullpen continue to dominate? I think that's a question. And then some of your 4 to 5 to 6 starters, can they continue to be as good as they have been? I think another question is the Padres offense just really bad? Or are they just not playing good to this point in the season? I think that's a big question to answer. That will determine if the NL West is close or not, because I think if the Padres just are bad and end up just being a bad offense this year, the Dodgers will run away with the NL West. If the Padres just aren't playing very good right now offensively and figure it out here in a month or so, then I think they have a chance to put some pressure on the Dodgers, okay? Is this the beginning of the Dodgers separating in the NL West? Those are the questions I have. To me, it looks that way. But again, hey, the Padres could get hot. Hey, Tulsa's outfield, DePaula, George, Hope, Sirota is the hitter version of the Tulsa rotation from 5 years ago when you had Bobby Miller and Kyle Hurt and Emmett Sheehan and all the Landon Knack, and I think you had Clayton Beater still back then. Yeah, that was a pretty good staff. Hey, Jeff Roll, Mookie has had 62 at-bats this season and is coming back from one of the worst injuries a hitter can have. An oblique, no doubt. But, yeah, that makes no – well, I don't know. I haven't looked up at that. That has not been my narrative. I'm guessing that, Jeff, you are responding to another post in the chat here, so I'll go up and read that and see where the context of that comes. Yes, River Ryan is must-watch TV. He's pitching tonight. I will be there in Oklahoma City to cover that. Andujar is their leading hitter. Yeah, Miguel Andujar hit the home run the other night. Alec Thomas, he's not in Oklahoma City, so I don't know. I will actually ask. I'll ask Kenny tonight if I have a chance. He may give me yes. Jackson Merrill, definitely Showtime. Love Jackson Merrill. I could watch him play all day long. I love Cronenworth. I loved watching him play, although he was a Dodger killer for so long. So, yeah, I don't hate the Padres. I just can't stand watching Machado and Tatis. They're just punks. They ruin it for me almost. Well, it makes it fun for the Dodgers to beat them. That much more fun. Hey, what's wrong with Tatis Jr. power outage? I don't know. You'll have to ask him. I've said enough about him. Hey, let's see. Mookie. Yeah, no, Mookie's not getting. Hey, just stop the narrative on Mookie. It's a dumb narrative. Okay, I don't want to make anybody mad here. Okay, I really don't, because this is a small channel and I need every fan. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, this is also a channel it's smaller, but it also has a reputation for being very intelligent. So, yeah, I mean, we can talk about Mookie Betts struggling and this and that, but Mookie Betts getting traded come on, man. I mean, Mookie Betts is going to be in the lineup every day. He's going to get motivated. He's going to figure things out. He's going to become Mookie Betts. He was a Gold Glove Hall of Famer. He dealt with a massive injury last year. He dealt with a position change to the most demanding defensive position on the field. Okay? Like Jeff said, he's 60 at-bats in. Stop with any of the overly dramatic narrative of Mookie Betts. Yeah, now, if you want to evaluate him like, hey, I don't like the approach that he has to play, or if you have a specific narrative on something specifically mechanically or approach-wise you don't like, of course, that's great baseball talk. But just an overall narrative on Mookie about this or that, as far as any kind of overarching long-term negativity, stop. Because first of all, even if you're right, it doesn't matter. The Dodgers signed him to a long-term contract. He is going to be here, and we need him to be the Hall of Famer that he has always been. So if you're one that's on the continual negativity and from hey, he's never going to, or if you're using the word never with Shohei Ohtani, with Mookie Betts, that's where I draw the line for him. That's the conversation that needs to start. I remember before the playoffs when he came up, yes, which said he wasn't ready. Al, yeah, that's going back to my narrative on Edgardo Henriquez. Hey, Henriquez always made me nervous. Now he's a rock star. I totally proud of Edgardo, man. Great job, Edgardo. Hey, we had to tell the truth. Hopefully, whenever you hear the truth from somebody, maybe you respect, people that tell the truth enough to where it motivates you to actually want to be that guy that everybody can trust. Al, Scott Vesey, I heard Enriquez, Trinan coming soon, Phillips, and put the Birdman Diaz. How about the San Diego pin? How about the Dodgers pin too, right? She and his new Bobby Miller, we'll see. I don't know, Honey Oats. You're a little negative on that, man. You always have great takes, but you're always a little bit over the top on the negative side of things. So I like the realism there, but no, I'm not going to say that whatsoever. Emmett Sheehan is in the process of becoming a very good major league starter, I think. Hey, question: Betts is a launch angle guy, but doesn't strike out 10% in the last 2 years. How can he evolve into his mid-late 30s to remain productive? Launch angle to right center. So back the timing up. Okay, so instead of trying to catch the ball out front where you're going to roll over everything, whenever your bat speed's not quite as great, reduce the margin for error, back it up in your timing, and think right center. That's where I'm at with that. That's one of the main reasons why I've had that narrative. And so keep the launch angle, keep hitting the doubles, but make the target right center. That way, I think you flatten your swing out at that point, and I think you give yourself a little bit more margin for error for not rolling over balls, trying to compensate for maybe a lack of bat speed. So, hey, we have had a wonderful crowd today. I want to mention, going to release my Down on the Farm segment here in an hour or two. So I'm getting ready to put that together. I will release that. So make sure and check that out. The numbers on the Down on the Farm have been fantastic. Please keep spreading the words on those. I'm going to release those every day that I have time, and this is the last day of school, so I'll have time moving forward. So look for those every day. They're going to continue to be on their own. That way, if you want to watch just Dodgers talk, you can. If you want to watch just prospect talk, you can. So until next time, I want to thank you for tuning in. And as always, remind you, it's a great day to be a Dodger.